Oh my gosh, if only.
無理かどうかは女の子が教えてくれるさ。
I hope Watari, remember what I said earlier, Watari right now is the only, not the only, but the most solid anchor physically and emotionally, but also comedically. But here, I hope Watari pulls him out. Hello friends, my name is Benoit Kim, a licensed psychotherapist and your favorite yapper. Welcome back. Please excuse me my raspy voice and I'm feeling a little bit under the weather, but here we are. Assassination Zero, Samsonian, Helix C, Jin Chimaru, and Roxy Love are the founding sponsors here. Thank you so much. Shout out to every single YouTube family members and patron folks. You matter, you're worthy. Sit back and I hope you enjoy. Will you come with me to see how it ends? I had a couple patron folks, specifically yappers and seekers, comment that some of the transition was, will you commit double suicide with me? First of all, that is a shocking revelation. And secondly, what a crazy subtitles and translation. Thirdly, in the suicide prevention realm, we no longer say commit suicide because suicide is not a commitment and nothing to be proud of. We just say we go through with it. We being, you know, I don't want to repeat the word since YouTube doesn't like that word. Although this is educational and suicide prevention is very, very important. And apparently that's a line from the book that Kaori's reading. But let's see, with that context in mind for me, I'm curious to see what Kosei's reaction is. Since this is an immediate continuation of how episode 16 ended. But holy crap. But that is as revealing as it is in terms of Kaori's terminal illness for Kosei. Poor Kosei and poor me. Jeez, all right. Kosei, we're in this together. All right. You see, Kaori's like, just kidding. Do you see, if you look at Kosei's micro expressions, I think his heart dropped. And he probably made those connections. And I wonder if Kaori's saying that just kidding. I just wanted to say it. I mean, look at her face. Look at her facial expression. As I talked about, 70% of our communication is nonverbal based on the body language, facial expressions, and her eyes. The fragility of her eyes and her face says it all. And I wonder, Kaori saying that just kidding will blunt the effect of what she just said. And I wonder if Kosei is still going to pick it up. Oh, Kosei seems distraught. Kosei is heartsick, lovesick, but also probably feeling distraught and broken because of the potential connection he's making emotionally with his mom and Kaori. Too many similarities. And Kosei's a smart guy. The intuition, in addition to his experiential wisdom, he has this experience, all too viscerally, painfully as it was. He does have a similar experience, witnessing the fragility and how his mom once fell apart. And now he's witnessing this again. Oh, poor Tsubaki. Tsubaki's trying to cheer up Kosei by saying that, oh, let's go visit Kaori. Because Tsubaki innocently and with well intention thought that, oh, by cheering up Kosei, let's ask him to invite his love interest. Maybe that would cheer him up. 2 levels. Level 1, absolutely heartbreaking for Tsubaki to voluntarily asking Kosei to visit another girl that Tsubaki knows that the subject of her love interest likes. That is the level of their deep friendship, and that's how much Tsubaki wants Kosei to cheer up. That's level 1. Heartbreaking on so many levels. And level 2, the irony that he is exactly like this. He's heartbroken, he's distraught because he did visit Kaori by himself, probably last night. Man. Also, Watari popping up in the background. I'm dead. And it's very noteworthy to highlight that Watari is like this. Or Watari is the only one that is seemingly not distraught or dealing with despair or heartbroken. He can be himself. It's because he is, I think, the one that is the most connected and authentic and expressive with his emotions. In other words, Watari, among all the friends here and all the characters, Watari is the one dealing with the least amount of emotional incongruences, dissonance, and disconnection. That's why he can be as carefree as he is. because he is truly himself, authentically so. Whereas everyone else is dealing with different emotional baggages, weights, unprocessed emotions, and trauma. And I'm glad that at least Wataru is here as an anchor, because Tsubaki's been drowning in her own emotions. Kosei is drowning as we speak, different drowning. He was no longer at the bottom of the sea because of the taunting and the ghost of his past, his mother, but now he's drowning in a new ocean, a new type of sea. And Kaori, of course, she is approaching her end. So Watari, shout out to you for being the anchor.
母ちゃんと喧嘩でもしたのかな。
あんなこと言って
あんなこと？
敵に塩を送るみたいなことして。
敵って。音楽のことで悩んでる。
もっと本気出してもいいと思うんだけどな。したくもない勉強をしてるのは誰のため？志望校のランクを上げたのは、奥津音大附属近くの高校を志望したのは誰のため？
Kosei. Let's be honest, everyone. Let's be honest. Subakia was filled with guilt because she knows that Kosei said that mainly to comfort and soothe Tsubaki, not because Kosei genuinely didn't want to go. That's what people pleasing is. That's what being nice is. Remember I talked about the difference between kind and nice? Kindness is showing up to the best of our ability for other people based on our core values and inner strength. Nice is often bending backwards by deprioritizing our needs, by compromising who we are, what we need for the sake of others. On the surface, it looks the same, but fundamentally, very, very different. Kosei said that to people please and to soothe Tsubaki because of course he cares. And again, my question is, did Tsubaki mean what he said? Is he really going to not pursue going overseas or going to a music institute for Tsubaki? Or was it just a setup because because Kosei will pass the entrance and will indeed make the cut to that prestigious music institute? You see, I don't remember being this awful. Sometimes I want to snap at him. This is the impact of us compromising our true feelings, being dishonest with ourselves. And here's an important, not a fun fact, but important PSA and a fact nonetheless to everyone. The one person that is the easiest to lie to is ourselves. Psychology of self-deception, definition right here. Self-deception is our ability to override our own emotions with our cognitions. In other words, self-deception is about using our thoughts to override our emotions. The one person that is the easiest to lie to every single day is ourselves. But there is a hidden cost to dishonesty. There is a hidden cost to our self-deception. We're going to grow resentful, bitter. Bitterness is huge. In the Bible, we talk about thorns in our hearts. That bitterness, it's a poison. It's insidious, invisible, yet with visible impact. It erodes our hearts. It permeates through the fiber and the fabric of our existence, and it spills over. And we become more bitter towards everyone around us. We become more negative. I'm sure we take a pause. I'm sure all of us know that one or two people in our lives, they're just a negative Nancy, constantly bitter, so much negative. And I'm not saying we don't have the right to vent and struggle and complain. Of course we do. Feelings are valid. This is not what I'm talking about. This is a bitterness that can be felt by everyone else around you. That's because those folks, again, no judgments, but clinically, those folks have so much bitterness in their hearts. It's also probably because they're lying to themselves, so much bitterness they haven't addressed and worked through. That's what Tsubaki is saying that. Sometimes I feel I want to snap at him, even though I'm trying to play cool. Doesn't work. Self-deception comes at a cost, and self-deception works until it no longer works. It works until it no longer serves us. If you know, you know.
いくつもの知らない自分を発見していくつもの知らない自分と向き合う
Yes.
それも多分恋をするってことなのかな
But I guess it's a part of being in love, sure. That's also part of growing up. Maturation, definitely sure. Emotional maturation and psychological maturation. Maturing, leveling up, evolving, tapping to the next stage of development. It's all about self-discovery and learning to manage the relationship and managing to coexist with the different parts of us. Carl Jung called it the shadow self, right? The parts that we are not proud of, the parts that we dislike. But regardless whether we like it or not, unless you're a vampire, when we step into the sun, go outside, there's a shadow behind us. Whether we like it or not, there's a shadow beneath us and underneath us and behind us. That is a shadow self. That is the different aspects of ourselves that we're not proud of or dislike. But we have to learn to manage because it is a part of us. Only ways through.
心ここにあらずね。今日はもういい。帰んな。
すみません。
Oh. Oh, now she's gonna go comfort Kosei because she saw a glimpse of Takashi in Kosei's, that feeling defeated, shoulders dropped, feeling small. Obviously, Kosei's distraught, and I'm pretty sure Kosei made that connection based on that reveal by Kaori. Despite that futile, oh, just kidding. Come on. Kaori, who are you lying to? Yourself. Remember what I said? Self-deception.
ごめん。よろしくお願いね。
あれ有馬先生
Oh, I think the Misaki, the teacher, knew. The sensei knew. That's why she's like, I'm sorry. Good luck, okay? She was cheering the girl good luck to cheer up and soothe Kosei. She knew.
ごくごく普通に歩いてたら追いついちゃった
Yeah. While she's huffy and puffing. Wow. Yeah.
歩くの遅いです姿勢悪いもっとシャキッとしなきゃだらしない
Aww.
その木本がね来る学祭では凪くんのために大声をキャン出るよなんて言ってくるんです
でもそういうのが感激するんじゃないの？
相手によるな
現実的だね。
It can be anyone. It has to be a good looker. Yo, what is this, lookism? I'm dead. Also, I'm guessing that Nagi and Mikey, they're like the top two or top performers in the school. But from what they said, I think Mikey was like the number one, right? But I'm sure Nagi's also up there.
やっと笑った
Aww. Nagi has a good heart. You see, this is the power of genuine relationship and genuine heart. Nagi went from infiltrating into this teacher-student dynamic with Misaki. Nagi went from trying to sabotage and revenge upon her brother Takashi with Kosei to now comforting, chasing after, soothing, and trying to cheer up Kosei, who she once thought was the arch nemesis and the enemy of her dearly older brother. The power of genuine hearts, the power of genuine relationship. But children know. They have this raw intuition that I talked about many times. They know who's genuine and who's not.
ごめんね、心配かけて。
別に心配なんてバカじゃ
Ha ha ha.
敵が貧弱だとつまんないだけよ
Wimpy enemy.
楽譜を完コピしてみ。西部のガンマンかっての。鋼鉄の
What is he, a gunman out of a Western film? Oh, that's Takashi.
心臓で超合金みたいだろ。ヒーローみたいだろ。
Aww.
なんて言ったらいい頑張って負けないでなんて無責任な言葉だだから私の身勝手な代償行為
No, Nagi, it's not true. And dang, she's so mature and self-aware for a 6th grader. What the heck? Nagi, what kind of a self-awareness is this? In these times where we feel helpless, powerless, we don't know what to do. So many clients come to me asking, what do I do? What do I tell my loved ones when they're grieving, when someone passed away, when they didn't get that job, didn't achieve that milestone that they really deeply cared about and they're heartbroken, what do I tell them? In response, I say, you simply hold their hands or simply share your presence with them, sit next to them. It's not the words they need. They need the physical comfort of soothing. They need to know that they're not alone. So the best thing we can do is just sharing and occupying the same space by sitting next to them, holding hands if it's appropriate and you feel comfortable. And if you really feel like you want to say something, just say, hey, I'm here. You're not alone. I see your pain. That's the best thing we can do. They don't need solution. They don't need advice. They definitely don't need unsolicited feedback. They just need to know they're not alone because they're struggling silently. That's the best thing we can do.
なる自己満足醜い
Aww.
たくさんの人と音を共有できた時、たくさんの人に音が届いた時、
When your hearts come together, when you're playing that music, not for the score or the sheets, but playing because you want to connect people. And the only thing that connects people is the emotions, the shared struggle. Because emotions are universal, as I talked about. Grief is universal. Every animal feels grief. That is the universality of emotions. But the sheets, the score, they're arbitrary. They're man-made. Music might just be capable of transcending words. Man, what is more relational than music? Well, there's food, right? Food is also extremely relational. But the point being, that's what Kosei is saying. And Kosei is also speaking from his heart, speaking from his truth, his recent revelations and transformation that he's gone through himself.
そんなの陳腐です。言葉しか信用しません。
Woman are realistic? Bro, Nagi, chill out, man. You're a freaking 6th grader. What do you know? Chill out.
Why you have to be mad?
I'll say sit down and be humble, but you're already seated. And you came out here to chase after Kosei out of your kind's heart. So I'll give you a pass, but chill, Nagi. You're not a woman. You're a little girl. Relax. Ah, look, you see, I told you the teacher knew. And I love teacher's daughter. Why is she crouching like a little frog? But it's okay. Frog? Is this my PTSD from my apothecary diaries? Green frog comments? But you see, the teacher knew. And the teacher, again, like I said, her intention and her genuine love for Kosei has been portrayed by her decision to ask Kosei to take on Nagi, to introduce another emotion, not just sorrow, but gratitude, appreciation, mentorship, giving back, another aspect of relationship. Beautiful. Oh.
ラベルなんて聞きたくない。
私と心中しない。いらっしゃい。
聞きたくない。
Come with me to find out how it ends. What an absolutely tragic and heartbreaking and just what a horrible thing to say. Come with me to see how it ends. Come with me to die together. Oh my god, it's so bleak. And again, I'm not judging or criticizing Kaori. That's Kaori's portrayal and that's her far cry of loneliness. She's so scared beyond human understanding, beyond words. She's so scared. She feels so lost. She feels so lonely.
何も考えたくない。何も聞こえなくなればいいのに。
Oh my gosh. If only I couldn't hear it all. And also, this is probably the worst show for me to react to while I'm not feeling well. This is like double whammy for me. Oh my gosh. But here we are. Only if I could not hear at all. That's a callback to when he was drowning previously, when he couldn't hear the sound of his music, but now he could hear. Now he's been transformed. And that is the part of transformation. For better or worse, we need to confront and face our inner demons, our own struggle, the painful aspect of the reality. And the cost, there is a cost to progression as well. When we take a leap of faith, of course, there's a promised land of renewal and transformation, but change is hard. Change demands great effort. This is part of that for Kosei. Now he could hear, but now he could also hear the pain, the grief, the sadness. Because life encompasses everything, the good and the bad, and the sadness and the heartbreaking. That is just part of life. And it's worth it though. It's not easy, but it's worth it.
よっ今から俺の香織ちゃんのお見舞いに行くんだ一緒に行こうぜ僕はいいよ俺たちに遠慮することねえぞ行こうぜ行かないってばどうしたんだよおめえよ
Kosei, come on, I think with Wataru being persistent, I think Kosei is gonna break down and probably tell him about his hypothesis, the connections he's made, and probably suspecting that Kaori's gonna die. Because remember, now Kosei's shutting down. He's reverting back to his old self, who he used to be. Suppressing, repressing, putting everything inside. Struggling, suffering silently in silo. He is withdrawing and retreating away from his meaningful community because Kosei too is suffering, and this is an activation and triggering of his PTSD, what he went through with his mom. I hope Wataru, remember what I said earlier, Wataru right now is the only, not the only, but the most solid anchor physically and emotionally, but also comedically. But here, I hope Wataru pulls him out because Kosei is drowning once again.
それって白状じゃね香織ちゃんはおめえにあんなによくしてくれたのに何逃げてんの
Come on, say it.
こっち向けよ
Oh.
おい昴生渡り僕はどうしたらいい
私ねあんまり良くないみたい
Oh, she did say it's not. Oh my gosh. They didn't include. I can't even talk. They did not include it in the beginning. Freaking writer, dude. Oh my gosh. They included this freaking 8 minutes in. It's not looking too good for me. Oh my gosh. So Kaori did tell Kosei. It's not true though. It's not true. No, Atari knows too. Oh. Only way is through. Hmm. Oh. Wow, the show really doesn't let loose. All right, we're just gonna skip straight to jump straight to the hospital visit right after that. Such a heartwarming and heartbreaking conversation between Wataru and Kosei. Really? My goodness, dude. Why you gotta do us dirty like this? But just a quick highlight. You know, I don't want to add too much. Wataru, you are a man's man, truly. You're emotionally courageous. You're honest with your own emotions. You know how to hold space. You give really, really non-intrusive, great feedback. You know how to hold space by being there physically. He checked all the boxes of what I just said earlier. How to be there when someone's struggling, when someone feels helpless. And that was such a, I think, healing and much needed heart-to-heart between the two. Because Wataru finally explicitly and verbally told Kosei, you are the one that Kaori needs. You're the one that she reached out to. You're the one that she leaned on every single time. You need to be there for her. Not just for Kaori, but also for you. The emotional closure that took you 2-3 years after your mom's passing, but this time you can move through that emotional closure in real time with Kaori. And Watari also dropped some heavy ass knowledge bombs right there. I know I said I'm not going to add too much, but here I am yapping. I mean, hey, I am the professional yapper, right? Watari said that a man needs to take action. Obviously, it's not gender specific. A man and woman doesn't matter. What's important is, remember I said before, everything in this life can be categorized into 2 categories: controllable variables and uncontrollable variables. Using Watari's words, what can we do about it? Actionable items and the things we cannot control. Counterintuitively, the more we deal with inaction, the bigger the frustration, and the bigger the frustration contributes to our feeling of helplessness and powerlessness. We need to do something about it. Often I give my clients assignments, homework, because therapy is only an hour a week, and there's 168 hours in a week. 24 hours a day, 7 times a week. 24 times 7, that's 168. 1 hour a week pales in comparison to 168 hours. We brush our teeth and we shower longer in accumulation than 1 hour a week. Or at least I hope so, right? What does that say? Therapy, a week, or coaching, whatever it is, it's only the GPS, navigation system. We use Google Maps, Apple Maps, whatever. But can Google Maps drive for you? No, you still have to press the gas pedal. Who has to do the driving? Who has to do the driving? Not the navigation GPS, not the Google Maps. It's us, because it is our lives. Same for therapy. That's why I always give homework and assignments outside of the session to help with implementation and integration to truly maximize therapy. At least that's my style, right? So I often ask my clients to do, when you feel truly helpless and stuck and powerless, write down within 3 domains: work, life, relationships. That's the general 3 domains I ask my clients to do, but find whatever feels authentic to you. Within work, life, and relationship domains, write down a list of agency. I call it the agency list. Everything, all the choices you do have, all the agencies that you do have. You often forget, so write it down. And once you write down a list, as long or as short it may be, just seeing in paper, visibly, visually, that, oh my goodness, I didn't think I could do anything. I truly thought I was helpless, because I truly, genuinely thought, because of this despair and the struggle, there's nothing I could do. Through this agency list exercise, you remind yourself gently and lovingly that, wow, there is something I can do. And that something is better than nothing. And that something will penetrate through your feeling of hopelessness. Because now you know you do have modicum of control. There is something we can do about it. And that helps with hopelessness. That's what Watari is saying. It's all about action. We got to do something about it. And here we are. Kosei is visiting Kaori. Tremendous courage here. But it's really important. I hope that feedback and advice was helpful for whoever's watching. Oh, good callback.
ピアノの練習してる？
うん。
学校は？
いつも通り。
みんな元気？
まあまあ。
何よその返し！お見舞いする気ないでしょ！
あるよ。あるけど、何を言えばいいかわからないんだけど。
Okay, being honest, very good. Honesty is the best policy.
忘れちゃえばいいんだよ。リセットボタンを押すみたいにポチッと。ポチポチッと。
No, Kaori, that's called avoidance and denial. No. But of course, Kaori gets it. Kaori knows Kosei is truly in a bind. Kaori knows about Kosei's history with his mom. So Kaori knows, and I'm sure she also feels guilty tremendously for revealing that to Kosei. But Kaori is the one that is ultimately drowning the most, because she's the one that's experiencing death or dying. So Kosei doesn't know what to do. Kaori doesn't know what to do. And this is the best they can do. All right, the writer. Okay, that comedic interjection got to me. Okay, all right, good job. I was like, remember I said last week's episode, no comedy, no physical comedy will get to me, will soothe me at this point. I was wrong. Thank the Lord that some comedy is still working. All right, that was very unexpected. Of Kosei freaking just eating the cannellis by himself. Oh my gosh, dude. But obviously the important highlight is Kaori still trying to soothe Kosei despite she is the one that's ultimately drowning. This is the power of love, power of youthful love. And obviously underneath the comedy, Kosei is stress eating. And now he's getting scolded by the nurse. Kosei wants to be invited and perform at Nagi's school. Yo, remember, Kosei's a freaking celebrity of his own right. I'm sure obviously Takashi's gonna come, probably Emmy, just to watch him perform. Wow. After, man, this is so deep, so poetic, so beautiful. After Kosei jolted some lifefulness into Kaori's lifelessness in the hospital room, as I said, now he is reinvigorated. He's reclaiming his ownership. He's doing something about it. Now he wants to play for Kaori, just like he wanted to play for his mom. And maybe through his performance, he could ask the hospital's permission to bring out Kaori, and maybe Kaori would also sit at the exit entrance hallway, just like the same parallel process, the same setting as his mom once was. Because Kosei knows nothing will bring more joy and life into Kaori's limited lifespan than music, the beauty of music. That's what Kosei is saying. Wow, dude. What an ownership. What a powerful transformation. You see, when we do something about it, when we tap into our agency, we reclaim power. That's empowerment. What does empowerment mean? Empower, embody, power, taking ownership of what can we do? What we can do. That's empowerment.
いいですよ。
嘘あんたの晴れ舞台よどうしよう本当に
Aww.
ダメ元だったのに
もっと声有馬高生。
いやあマイプリンセス僕とバラの騎士について語らないか君の
What the? Yo, what the?
もっと跳ねるように手首を使って柔らかくもう一呼吸
Wow. Yo, they're locked in, bro. Yo, Nagi's locked in. Wow. You see? This is also Nagi's redemption arc. Nagi has been dealing with guilt and helplessness, as she shared with Kosei earlier on. Now there's something she can do about it. She couldn't redeem or save her brother, Takashi, during his lowest moments, during his most vulnerable state. Oh my gosh, dude, I feel like my sickness and my fever and my freaking raspy voice is freaking also dissipated. I feel invigorated. Whew! The power of empowerment, baby. Anyway, let me calm down. Let me bring this back. But now, Kosei's redemption arc for Kaori also inspired Nagi's very own redemption arc. Because now Nagi's gonna channel her previous powerlessness and helplessness onto Kosei by helping Kosei's dream come true. Music is relationship. Music is relational. Wow.
序盤はもっと早め
They're locked in. This is amazing. Yes. I needed
何回
this.
さらったのよ。昨日より精度が上がってる。
Wow. And Nagi's witnessing greatness before her very eyes. Nagi's witnessing that hero, the greatness that defeated her own hero, Takashi, countless times. This is greatness in action, and Nagi gets the VVIP front row seats. Woo! This is exciting.
食わねえのか
ちょっと食欲ない。
She's
練習
locked
してく
in.
る。
あの子根詰めすぎじゃない？
間違えちゃった。ごめんなさい。
ミスタッチは気にしないで通していこう
Aww.
ごめんなさい。ごめんなさい。
Oh, it's because Nagi sees, again, yes, she's seeing greatness playing out, but also she sees Kosei's hard-pouring efforts. Remember, Kosei's the guy who will fall asleep underneath the piano, literally practicing till he passes out, which is extremely toxic. But the point is, Nagi here sees that. She feels it. She's experiencing it. So she wants to also hold herself to the high standard. But of course, Nagi, you're a 6th grader. Chill out, right? But okay. But I see your heart. I really respect that in the sense.
頑張ってね。絶対見に行くからね。
あなたは今年の目玉よ。
岩田先生が聞きにいらっしゃる。
All the pressure, all these mounting pressure for the adolescents and children, especially in Asia. If you guys knew anything about the classical performance scene in Korea, China, and Japan for adolescents, it is absolutely cruel. And I'm using the word cruel. It is cruel. I'd argue it's borderline inhumane. The level of, do you know how prevalent panic attack is in Korea? I don't want to speak for other countries, but in Korea specifically, it is extremely prevalent. Do you know how many adolescents are taking anti-anxiety medication and taking pharmaceutical approach in Korea because of the prevalence of panic attack? Because of all these just unimaginable, heart-crushing, soul-crushing, cruel pressure. It's heartbreaking. Seriously, it is so bad. What's the point of all these K-wave, Korean wave, Korean culture, K-pop, K-drama, K-food? I'm proud of that as a Korean American. But at the same time, I would not have any of that pride. I'd rather we don't have that level of global phenomenon, global influence. If the teenagers, if the children could have a better life, if their well-being can be taken care of, if they can truly live an innocent childhood because they deserve it. Can we really be proud of these cultural accomplishments if it comes at the detriment of the very children that our entire society is based out of? They are our future. Who cares about the present accomplishments if that comes at the detrimental sacrifice of our very own future, the children themselves? That's truly how I feel. Oh, so much pressure for Nagi. Four more days. Wow.
この曲をものにするのにあと4日しかない。
親御さんも鼻が高いぞ。
頑張って。結局顔だけでしょ。
Oh, she also have even more pressure because she's also a sister of Takashi, because Takashi is also very well known, right? Ah, man, just like quadruple pressure.
あと4
She's just a 6th grader.
この苦しみに耐えなきゃいけないの。
You see, listen to the story she's telling herself, self-narrative. I've got to endure this suffering, not joy. She does not enjoy the process. This is the invisible cost of mounting pressure. In this sense, I do respect the United States a lot. In this sense, I really respect the American culture. It's more westernized because we do respect liberty, autonomy of choice, even for teenagers and children. We will push them if they really want to out of their own will. And we do care about this humanity aspect, humanitarian aspect a lot more. And you can disagree, but empirically, the West, Scandinavian countries like the United States, we do prioritize the humanitarian aspect, and we do prioritize the well-being of our children way better than the Eastern Asian countries. That's a fact. In that sense, I respect. But in the East, again, with everything we talked about, children do not really have a say. It's whatever the parents goes. Again, with this collectivist culture versus the West, which is more individualistic, there's trade-offs, right? Nothing's all good, nothing's all bad. It's all about nuances. At the same time, here, specifically, my heart breaks for Nagi. But Nagi, you're not alone. You have your teacher, Arima Kose, with you. You got this. Ganbatte. 欢迎加油 Aww.
Maggie!
Oh, this is a callback. Remember Arima Kose was crying alone in the closet many episodes ago? And that's when the teacher, Misake, she was like, if I'm bringing more pain to Arima, do I deserve to be her? Do I deserve to be his teacher? And that's when she, I think, left. Here, I think the teacher also understands the struggle that Nagi's going through. I'm sure there are so many parallels in this episode. I'm sure the sensei also sees Arima in Nagi and also sees herself. But this time, she's not the same teacher as she once were. It's not the same situations. And Nagi's not Arima. Everyone has grown. Everyone has evolved. Everyone has come a long way. That's the difference. Despite similar feeling, it's not the same. Very important distinction. Yep, I literally just said that, right? It's exactly what I said. Not true. Yes. It's cruel. Oh, Miss Seto, what did I call her? Misaki? Oh my gosh. My brain cells are not fully operational. Oh, dry eyes. Bars.
その瞬間に取りつかれた。どうしようもない生き物なのかもしれないね。
Musicians, baby.
少し恋と似ている。
Wow.
捕まえた。トイレを占領するんじゃない。ゴール、せめて左足にしなさい。あん
Ah.
たの居場所はトイレじゃないわ。舞台に立つのが怖いのは、あんたが一生懸命練習したから。身も心もピアノに傾けたから。だからさらけ出すのが怖いのよ。
Wow.
あんたのことを。
Aww.
ない胸張りなさい。あんたは有馬昴生の弟子だよ。
Puff your chest out even if you don't have one? Bro. She's a 6th grader, yo. Oh my gosh. She could say that because she's a female teacher, right? I'm dead, bro. Wow. Nice. Let's go. Aww.
いいよ。まだ何も言ってないよ。お前のお願いならいいよ。
Oh, Watari, you're a man's man, bro. Oh my gosh. I hope and pray that everyone, especially all the guys out there specifically, because girls and gals have plenty of extremely vulnerable and meaningful and forthcoming and emotionally expressive avenues and circles, generally speaking, compared to guys, because of the toxic machoism and all the bravado, right? Because of that, I sincerely hope and pray that all of us have great anchors and friends like Watari. Beautiful. I bet the favor is asking Watari to stroll and bring Kaori to the performance, to the cultural festival. You're like a walking hard on. Oh my gosh, bro. These adolescents are crazy.
こっちだな。
Wait, where's Kaori?
せっかく着ぐるみ着てるのにちまちまと。
あれはどう？
さあ、今回は俺に何も教えてくれねえんだよ。
ブラコン卒業かしら。悲しいわね。
I'm dead, yo. Yo.
せいする。
お疲れ小麦。私よくできました。
Yeah, good job.
ナギは
生ハゲ。大爆笑。まともな僕らが逆に向いてる。恐るべし来るが臭い。
Ah.
タンタンタンタンタンタンタンタンタン。
大丈夫？
大丈夫に決まってるでしょ。有馬先生こそ落ち着いてますね。もっとうろたえろ。
あっけに取られて緊張する暇がないというか。
Bro, Nagi, you don't even know. Your sensei, Arima Kosei, freaking is used to performing while he's drowning and not able to hear his own music. Come on now. Aw, she's terrified.
そうだ。初めて会った時、君も震えてたな。
Aw.
握りしめて指がコチコチになっちゃうよ。
Oh, he
手を
knows.
広げて力抜いて。
Arima's speaking from his own experience. He can all to relate with what Nagi's going through and more. That makes me want to open up my... Oh, Arima's shaking his hands
誰だ
too.
って怖いよ。
Yup.
私だって後世だって。
Even Takashi, yes.
あなたも追い詰められていたの。
Yeah. Much more worse than a corner.
私と同じ。
Vulnerability, strength.
僕の友達が言ってたよ。君の人生でありったけの君で真摯に弾けばいいんだよって。
Yes. Fair.
13年だ。信じよう。音楽に傾けた時間を。
Yes. Aww. Beautiful heart to heart.
8番の方、ステージにお願いします。
私たちだ。
Iko. Oh, look at that sun. Oh, yes. Light at the end of the tunnel, baby. Or is that the light that's summoning Kaori into the afterlife? I'm sorry, guys. Guys, this is so sad. I need some morbid sense of humor. My apologies. Oh, Kaori couldn't go? Okay. Oh, but maybe... Oh, but Watari's putting him on speaker so Kaori could hear. That's why I think Kaori had the phone on and you could hear the clapping in the background. Oh, okay. Episode 17, Twilight. Twilight is at the precipice of transformation and transition. So many layers. Twilight of Kaori's life. Twilight of Nagi's transformation, finding that strength. Twilight of Kosei, reclaiming that empowerment. So many meanings there with that Twilight. I think it's such a beautiful and apt and fitting title for this episode. Wow. And you guys, that's it for this week. As always, a massive, massive shout out to Scientia Tridents for being the big donor. Thank you for your financial support. Thank you for sponsoring. And we are here because of your support. Remember, everyone, you matter. You're worthy. Thank you for tuning in. What an episode. What a series. Until next time. Peace.